So this is a great time to introduce the wonderful people I have here on stage who will be making such, I'm nothing, they're everything in terms of the extraordinary contributions they will be making this summer. First, Louis Langray, who needs no introduction. Nisha Jones, who is an extraordinary theatrical visionary. Again, a man who probably also needs no introduction to this particular audience. The Pulitzer Prize-winning composer, New York composer David Lang.
You know, I got the bug a few years ago of working with amateurs. You know, usually I work with professionals and I write very difficult music, and I work with people who have practiced, you know, very, very, very hard, and they spend a huge amount of time working on things. And I started thinking, you know, actually what's really interesting about this is giving people a job to do that they have to accomplish, and you can actually do that with people who are not professional musicians. You can give people who are amateurs something interesting to come together, to rehearse, to build a community, to figure out how to do some project together, and that's a value by itself. So I thought, how can you get this experience to share with people who are not, you know, professionals? Also, what happened was a couple years ago, someone called me and asked me a very silly question, which usually doesn't get asked composers, which is, oh, what do you want to do? We'll do whatever you want to do. I said, oh, I want to write a piece for 1,000 people yelling in the street. And so miraculously, that's what we did. This was a piece that was commissioned by the Birmingham Contemporary Music Group, the Berlin Philharmonic.
This is a prior piece.
The prior piece. It was called Crowd Out. And it was a piece that was conducted by Simon Halsey. So I made him, when he tells you that you are skeptical and then you come around, he was talking about his journey of how people come together to yell, you know, 1,000 people coming together to yell something that actually become a community. So when the possibility of doing something for Mostly Mozart came up, we were all talking, so Jane and Simon and I were talking about how great it was that this was sort of an offering for people from the community to have the experience that we get as musicians all the time, coming together, rehearsing something, practicing, presenting it, and yet it doesn't require them to have spent a lifetime of you know, fiddling around, learning how to read music, or fiddling around with, you know, how your fingers move like this. You know, it's something that requires them to be people. I also feel like at this time when we have lots of things in the world that are separating us by politics, by religion, by discipline, by class. So I started thinking, what should this piece be about? And then I thought, well, it really has to be about the things that we all share. So I decided to call it the public domain, and right now I'm writing the libretto for it. And I'm basically trying to make a catalog of the things that maybe people can agree on.
When Jane came to me with this project, I think truly, probably to all of Jane's vision, I think what she was imagining is something that possibly might become more than its constituent parts. And its constituent parts are already awesome, in that I have, as Louis has mentioned, a most beautiful and well-crafted program of selections of intense moments of human interaction, as only Mozart really can create on stage, and an absolutely superlative cast. And so really the concept for the Illuminated Heart is to give this presentation a theatrical environment, the opportunity for these intense but brief moments really to live theatrically, so that they can be fully expressed in the decontextualized way that they are. As it were a theatrical environment, as Jane has described, it's a white box which references and imitates late Baroque stages, in that it has a tapering perspective and it opens out towards the audience. I'm hoping that the feeling will be of generosity and of sharing. But whereas in Baroque times, the scenes would have been changed by the changing of the fabrics, of the cloths, as we are, you know, in our wonderful digital world, we can do something similar but perhaps more spontaneous with projection. So projection allows me very smoothly and quickly to change the atmosphere very completely, so that at one moment we might be in a beautiful environment for a light-hearted duet, and then we're in an intense dark corridor perhaps for a moment of a very extreme emotion, whether that be rage or jealousy or fury or love or lust or all of these things that we'll pass through during the course of this evening.